Welcome to the Renaissance Achiever with Sarah Fui. Today, I'm going to do a little bit of a story time with you and tell you about how I threw an adventure party for my 10-year-old daughter last year for her birthday. So, I homeschool my kids. I'm a mother of five, and I've been homeschooling since my oldest was in kindergarten. Homeschool kids have a lot of free time on their hands. Our lessons don't take as long as a full school day in public school. And so my kids have a lot of time to read, they have a lot of time to play, they have a lot of time to be creative. And my daughter's birthday is at the end of October. And in September, she came to me with this notebook of ideas and she said, Mom, I know what I want to do for my birthday. And she starts describing to me what she wants to do. She said, there's going to be a lava land, and then there's going to be a ice land, and there's going to be a candy land, and a ghost land, and a jungle land. And she was at first describing it like she wanted a jungle themed birthday, but then she was describing all these different lands or worlds that we would go into, and that it was going to be like a scavenger hunt, and there was going to be a task in each world. And I'm listening to her ideas and I'm thinking, that's super cool. That's super creative. That sounds epic. And I really hope that she forgets about this whole idea and does not want to do this for her birthday, because that sounds like a ton of work. It sounds like a ton of work. It sounds like a ton of money. I'm not even sure if we can pull it off and make it as cool as it is in our minds. And that sounds super overwhelming. So I listened to her ideas. I only spoke positively about it. I didn't tell her any of my doubts or worries about it. And I told her, that's amazing. That's such a good idea. I love it. And then she kept coming back to me over the next few weeks with more ideas for this party. And I'm thinking, oh crap, she's not letting this go. So October comes, it's the beginning of the month. I am in this mastermind where I've traveled out of state for an elite coaching day. I'm doing a ton of work on my business and really kind of focused on that and distracted with that. I spoke at a virtual summit that fall and also attended a conference in October. So it was a really busy time. And I'll admit, my daughter's birthday party was not my top priority in my mind, but it was absolutely her top priority. And she kept coming back to me with these ideas for this party. And eventually I realized this is going to happen. She wants to do this bad, and I need to start prioritizing it and helping make it happen so that we get it done, so that she can have this dream party that she has been planning for a month. And so I had to let go of my fears. And I'll admit, so some of the fears that I had, aside from can we really pull this off? Like maybe this is going to look a little more lame than we imagined it to be. Maybe it's not going to be fun. I worried what her friends would think, if they would be bored, or we would put so much effort into it and be so excited. And then it would just be kind of like, it's not that cool after all. I had all these fears and doubts. And I also thought, oh, it's going to take so much time, that I have all these other things I'm working on. But when I made that decision, and I remember it was a decision that I'm going to go all in on this with her. And I'm going to stop having those doubts. And I'm not going to let my own limiting beliefs and fears get in the way of her dreams. And I'm just going to help her execute. And when I made that decision, I started having so much fun in creation mode with her, and I had ideas. And so I came up with the idea that we have a task in each land, some kind of thing that they need to overcome. And then they get a jewel that represents that task. And once they have all 5 jewels from all the different lands, then they can get the prize at the end, which would be their goodie bags, the treasure. So we had all this in our minds. We were browsing online to look decorations that matched each of the lands. We found these jungle vines that we hung from the ceiling. Oh my gosh, we had so many good ideas. It was so fun and creative. And so the day came for the party. In Iceland, there were icicle lights hanging, and there were snowflakes all over the room, and there was white streamers hanging down like a curtain to go into the doorway. So I have this old 90s styled home where there's 4 different rooms downstairs. There's a sitting room, a living room, a kitchen, a dining room, and it goes in one big circle. So in the first sitting room, we have Iceland, and it's decorated with snowflakes and ice. And the challenge was the kids had this ice cold bucket of water. It was like a bunch of ice in there and a bunch of fish tank gravel at the bottom, and there was coins under the fish tank gravel, and they had to stick their hand in the cold and find the right coins. And so all these girls lined up and they all took their turn to try to find a coin in the gravel, and there was a specific coin they had to find. And when they all met that challenge, they got a jewel. And then they went to Volcano Land. I think we called it Lava Land. And in lava land, it's like the floor is lava and there is only these specific black rocks, which was black construction paper on the ground that they could step on. They couldn't step on anything else. And there was a bunch of red and orange balloons taped to the wall. And we had painted a big volcano on a poster board, and that was also on the wall. So these balloons were taped to the wall, and in a few of the balloons were coins. And so they had to find which coin, but each kid could only go around and pop one balloon because there was a lot of kids there. It was a big party. So they popped all these balloons on the wall and they found their coins. And I will say, we totally messed up the paint job in that room, taping the balloons to the wall. And to this day, we have not fixed it. In the name of an epic birthday party, we ruined the paint job in our dining room, which is actually not even a dining room. We use it as a studio for recording acting auditions, anyways. So that was Lava Land. Then they moved from Lava Land into Candyland, and Candyland had lollipops and Werthers taped onto the wall all over in the kitchen, and there was bags of cotton candy hanging from the ceiling fan and from the ceiling, and there was drawings of different candies that my daughter had drawn. She loves to go on Art for Kids Hub on YouTube. It's a YouTube channel that teaches you how to draw step by step different cute things, and so she drew all these cute candy characters and she had them up on the wall. And she even drew some Oompa Loompas. It was so cute for Candyland. There was so much detail involved. And in this land, they had to each eat a fruit by the foot without using their hands. And it was pretty disgusting. It was a lot of sugar and gross stuff. So they eat the whole fruit by the foot without using their hands, just like slurping it up and chewing and gagging. That was their task. And then they went into Ghostland, and Ghostland was in the living room. And in Ghostland, I don't even remember what the challenge was, to be honest, but we had dark black kind of curtains everywhere and these eyeballs and white ghost decorations from Halloween hanging down. Her birthday was near Halloween, so it's easy to find Halloween decorations. And then throughout the hallway, when you're going in between the different lands, we had vines hanging down. We had fake vines hanging from the ceiling. So as you're walking through, you're just parting vines to walk through our hallway on our house. And it was so magical. And I'm thinking about it now. It's like a childhood dream to have your house transform into this imaginary world. And then the backyard was also jungle land where there was an obstacle course in the yard. And it was so fun. It was so fun. I loved seeing all of her ideas come to life. And she was so stoked on her birthday. She was like, this is the best birthday ever. And she was so happy with the execution and how it turned out. And I felt so proud of her and of me for creating this and having such a fun time with it and how each of the rooms turned out. And as I was going through this process with her of creating this birthday party, I thought about my business and how it tied into my mindset with my business, because at the same time, I had recently decided I wanted to host a retreat, but I was pretty intimidated at the end result of creating this thing I had never done before. What if it doesn't come out as good as I hoped it would? Or, what if people don't like it? Or what if people don't want to buy it? All these fears that get in the way. And what she taught me was that we absolutely have the power to create the ideas that come to us and that we can bring them to life if we just believe it and take action. And that birthday party that I did with her helped me to let go of my own fears and to move forward and say, yes, I can do this retreat. And it's so cool to think back on it now because now it's happening. This retreat is taking place next week. And I know it's going to be just as epic and beautiful as I imagine it. And there's some childlike beauty to the belief of creation. And every single one of us was born with that drive, that desire to create the ideas that come to our mind. Children are born with so much imagination. And at some point along the way, someone told you, that's too hard. That's too expensive. It's going to take too much time. It's not going to be as nice as we would like it to. Other people aren't going to like it. Maybe you'll like it, but other people won't, right? All of these fears and limiting beliefs were fed to us, or we had experiences where that really did happen. Maybe we made a drawing and we thought it was beautiful and epic. And then someone was like, what is that? And then all your dreams were crushed. And you're like, what do you mean? What is that? This is the most beautiful pony or something, right? And they couldn't even tell what it was. There was some instance in your life where you created something and felt pride and someone else didn't see the vision. And it killed that spark of joy. And that's happened to every single one of us. And when we think about grown-ups and how we lose that magic, and I think of like Peter Pan and the Lost Boys, like you grow up and you lose that magic of imagination. But I'm inviting you now by sharing this story to recognize that the ideas that come to you, the what ifs, that would be cool. What if someone else created this? Someone should do something like this, right? So it's so much easier for us to get an idea and say, wow, someone should do this and not realize that someone is us. If the idea is coming to you, you should do it. Why should someone else do it? And it's that fear of the execution. It's too hard. It's too much work. I don't want to commit to it. But those ideas that come to you, you absolutely have the power to create them, or that idea would not be coming to you. The inspiration, the muse would not be tapping into you if you weren't able to create it. And it's up to you to decide, am I going to go all in? Is it going to be worth it? I don't know. We don't know the end result. We'll never find out until you do decide. But once you decide to go all in, the process of creation can be so fun, so enjoyable, so magical. And the end result could be better than you even imagined. But you have to have the courage to execute on the ideas that come to you. And you have to have the belief that you can move your ideas into creation. And so I challenge you to think about the ideas that have been coming to you. Maybe there's one that's been on your mind for a long, long time. I need to paint that picture of that image that has been in my mind, or I need to write that children's book, or I need to produce this song in this style that's so different from how I normally do it. Whatever that idea is for you, maybe it's starting the business, the nonprofit, but there's an idea that has come to you that you have not yet acted on. And today I challenge you to think, what if, and to take that first step of action into bringing it into creation. Thank you for joining me today on the Renaissance Achiever. You can follow my journey on Instagram, Sarah Fui Coaching. You can also contact me through email, sarah@sarahfui.com, with any questions you have about the podcast, any comments, or even inquiries to be featured as a guest on the Renaissance Achiever.